Welcome again to the Melling Law YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a little walkthrough of the binder. So those of you who are already clients, this is what you received from us, is a binder. It has our contact info in the front and a little cover letter that also functions as a table of contents. This table of contents shows that generally we try to list it by convenience order. So we have the trust first, the certificate of trust, and then we have some of these other documents that may or may not require action on your part, and we'll get to that. So first of all, we have the trust, and it has just a simple cover sheet on it, table of contents. And the first few pages are what are important. They list the trust name. This is important for most transactions where you're trying to put property into your trust or take it out of your trust. Most third parties will require that. In that trust, you will also receive a kind of a summary of the trust. We call it a certificate of trust. It just states who the trustee is, what the trustee's address is, basically who can sign for the trust. And anytime you're going to do a transaction for your trust, let's say you sell real estate that's in your trust, you're going to need this form. As well, if you have a bank account that you want to make pay on death to the trust, or any kind of maybe you want your brokerage account to actually be held in the trust name. So anytime you need to move property into the trust name or take it out of the trust name, this is the form you're going to want. So it has its own tab, this Trust Assets tab, and that's the form you'll have. And then we have the will, and the will is usually very simple if we've already got a trust. Really it shouldn't ever be used or needed until you've passed away, but it's there for your children if they ever need to use it. The will is important because it authorizes this form. This is what's called a personal property memorandum. It has no legally binding authority or effect unless it's mentioned in your will. So if you have a will through us, this document's going to be mentioned. So anytime you have personal property, let's say antiques or heirlooms that you want to leave to someone, you're simply going to list the property, who it goes to, sign and date, and if you change your mind later on down the road, you can date and sign again to void that entry, and that way you don't have to update your will just for changing names on personal property. Our next tab here is the power of attorney. Now this is just the state's standard form for that. It has the state standard language. You'll have your name, who your agent is going to be under the power of attorney. Sometimes we'll have successors or we'll leave them blank. This form you should have filled out with our advice and initialed the proper categories on these. And then obviously this is signed. The power of attorney though, this document, you will probably want to give this to most of your financial institutions. Make sure they're going to recognize it, as well as make sure that pretty much any financial institution, brokerage, and sometimes title company, if you do a lot of real estate transactions, this form is going to be needed by most of those third parties. And it's best to run it by them first to make sure that they're going to accept it as is. Otherwise, we can make necessary changes in the future. If we go to the next tab for healthcare, once again, this is a standard form provided by the state. It's an advanced healthcare directive. You put your contact info here, your first healthcare and second healthcare agent, and you fill this out with us. And then there's just some basic HIPAA language in here, a few other consents to medical research, organ donation, clinical trials. And sometimes the pages don't flip. There we go. We've got the third page is the living will component of the advanced directive. You've got 4 options, and you'll initial one of these with our advice on which one is best for your situation. And then signature, as well as signature of your witness. And this form in its entirety, the Advanced Healthcare Directive, this is what you get to your primary healthcare provider. If you're in Utah, odds are your doctor has some kind of affiliation with Intermountain Healthcare. If that's the case, make sure that Intermountain Healthcare has your directive on file, and that way your wishes will be honored. I usually put a tab in here for memorial instructions if you have any specifics with funeral planning. Obviously, that's blank in this case. And then finally we have just the miscellaneous documents tab. And usually we'll have the engagement letter stating what services were rendered, some of the terms, and this is mostly for your records as well as for mine, so I'll keep a copy as well. Other than that, in this tab, sometimes we'll also have business documents. If there's just minor business planning to do, we'll take care of that. That's it. If you have any questions about the contents of your binder, please refer to the front page. We have a list of where the documents are in order by tab on the binder. For the most part, during your lifetime, as long as you're healthy and you don't need anything, the only documents you're really going to use are this certificate of trust. That's for moving property in or out of the trust. Then this power of attorney for financial decisions, and that'll go to any financial institutions or brokerages that you'll have. And then your healthcare directive, that'll go to your healthcare practitioner. Some of these other documents may be used every now and then, but for the most part, those are the three that you're going to take any action with. Otherwise, you're going to take this binder, put it somewhere safe in your home, and make sure that your loved ones or the people in charge of your estate know where to find it. Probably a fire safe in your home is the best place to keep it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can always reach us at mellinglaw.com or at 435-572-0807.